I think your story is fascinating. You were a minor league announcer for a decade, and I know very well the grind of the minor leagues. I did it for 5, 6 years, and you did it for a decade. So from a player perspective, I get it, but I feel like it has to be a similar sort of thing for an announcer. There's so many bus trips and living out of hotels, and the minor leagues isn't super glamorous. What was the grind like for you as an announcer in the minor leagues?
It's really funny timing that we're talking about this right now because last weekend our football crew for Fox did Oregon State on Friday,
Hmm.
and we got on a bus as a group, like 20 of us, and our crew took a second bus and went right to Husky Stadium to do Washington State. And I got on that bus, with like the sort of felt like area rug seating with
Oh yeah.
blue and red and orange, right? And
Oh
then
yeah.
somebody spilled a drink on the bus as we're driving up I-5, 4.5 hours, and like one of the ball bearings didn't work as well as maybe it
Yeah.
should have. So it was a little bumpier at points. And I loved it because that's where you get, I really felt like I was back in the Carolina League. Like
Yeah.
that's what I felt like. And we were driving from Winston-Salem to Wilmington, right? But it is, I would never trade my time in the minor leagues. And it's not just for the stories, but the stories are great, right?
Yeah.
Like my first ever minor league road trip, half the team got bed bugs. We stayed at just an awful hotel in Northern Virginia, and I was like, guys, no, we're not. This is not a thing. But the idea that you have the opportunity to every day get better at this thing that you love to do, that's where players and I really overlap. I feel like because it's not easy, but it's also what you love to do. So anybody that's like, oh, it's so hard and all that stuff, that is true. But we're also not working with our hands for a living. Like we're not digging ditches, we're not doing construction. There are people who work harder than we do. It's the mental use of energy that really is the issue, right? Like there are some days you wake up and you're like, I am not good at this. I'm just not good at this. This is not going to be my day. I feel like I'm underwater. I'm
Yeah.
tired, all of it. I'm fighting with the copier because I'm doing game notes as well. Like that stuff is all real, but it taught me that like the half hour a day I did have time to work on the craft was the most important half hour of my day. And if I didn't make that half hour happen, I felt like I was wasting a day.
Yeah.
And that has meant so much to me in my career because I think if you play stuff from last year to the year before to the year before that, I would hope you will hear evolution in what I do
Yeah.
because you have to have that. If you don't, and that's why I really respect the heck out of Joe Buck. I like him for his sense of humor. I like him for so many reasons. But what I love most about Joe Buck is if you go back and listen to his early calls on Fox in the World Series, they were somewhat muted and the energy just wasn't like enormous. And
Mhm.
that's who he was at the time. And now you listen to like the punt return touchdown for the Jets on Monday Night Football earlier this year. And there's this just like grand power behind him. And he made that evolution happen on the biggest stage in our nation in
Yeah.
sports television. And so that's kind of what the minors taught me, along with the fact that like scouts will come up to you and say some of the most ridiculous stuff. Like I had a scout come up to me and go, hey, what do you got, polio? Like that was the way he
Oh my
introduced
God.
himself to me, right? Because I don't walk like everybody else. He literally said, not like, hi, I'm blank. He said, what do you got, polio? And I was
Oh
like,
my
wow,
God.
that is so awesome. I just love that people are so very direct in minor league baseball. Like, no, it's everybody in every job associated with minor league baseball is doing the same thing. They're trying to get good enough that people notice them.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember, yeah, one thing you learn I very early on, I got drafted, went to the New York Penn League, and there's some nice stadiums, there's some not. Same with the Midwest League. You can either be in like Clinton or you can be in like West Michigan's great, Dayton, Ohio is great, like Bowling Green's fun, but you learn very early on if you don't like it, play better. And that's the slogan of minor league baseball. And I feel like that goes for every single job in the minor leagues.
Thanks for watching. If you love flipping bats, swinging 3-0, or just talking ball, join us. Call us at 213-537-9339 with your questions. We have a weekly guest, and we have a lot of fun, so hit that subscribe button.